Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and in this video today, I want to talk a little bit about Cloud9 and more specifically Zven. He is now back in the LCS. This is a guy that I think a lot of us, most of us, if not all of us, have really missed from the LCS, even if you are, not the biggest Zven fan in the world or the biggest Cloud9 fan in the world or whatever. This guy, as a personality, as a player, as just a person in the LCS, I think brings up the level of everything, the content, the entertainment, the gameplay. I think he's good for the league overall, and I'm so happy he's back. Obviously, we got to see his very first career support game, and then we got to see him in some interviews and stuff after the game. I want to talk about all of that in this video today. But first, a word from today's sponsor, which is, of course, Prize Picks. You guys can see I'm wearing the Prize Picks shirt today. They were so nice to actually send me out a little care package that had this Prize Picks short sleeve t-shirt. I really like the fit of this. It's actually really comfortable, like a nice material. Then they sent me this as well, which is a long sleeve Prize Picks tee. It's like a little bit more of like an athletic wear, like dry fit type material. I got the Prize Picks hat, which this is really cool too. They sent me a deck of playing cards, which I've been really into poker lately, so I think that's awesome. And then they sent me like 6 of these Prize Pick koozies, so I'm like Prize Picks dripping now, which is really, really awesome. These guys have already been so amazing to work with, and then them just doing this extra little stuff for me really shows how these guys go the extra mile. If you guys want to check out Prize Picks and play some games, pick over under on player props to win up to 10x your cash, definitely check out the first link in the description below. When you get signed up, they're actually going to match your first deposit up to $100, which is an awesome deal. They're doing a lot of cool stuff for me. They have cool offers for you guys, so thank you so much to them, and I hope you guys do check them out. With that being said, let's get right into this, where we are talking about Zven's interview after this game between Dignitas and Cloud9. In this game, obviously, Zven was playing Tahm Kench. Maybe not the most exciting champion to be playing your first career support game on. Obviously, Tahm Kench isn't a champ that has like insane, highlight reel moments or plays or anything like that. Every once in a while, you can make some big plays, and there's definitely a notable difference between a good Tahm Kench and a bad Tahm Kench. I'm thinking, I think the baseline for Tahm Kench's is like pretty even. Most Tahm Kenches are going to give you a set of games within, a pretty narrow window. But then the good Tahm Kenches are really going to stand out, and the bad ones are also really going to stand out. I'm thinking like Carria with T1 makes Tahm Kench look pretty crazy at sometimes. And then there's definitely, I'm sure some LCS supports that probably if I went and watched some games, probably have some really, really rough TK performances. But overall, I thought Zven was fine in this game. I thought him and Berserker were okay. These guys are both obviously had to deal with some green card, visa, whatever issues. They both haven't had a ton of time to practice or scrim or even just be in the United States. So I don't really blame the fact that they didn't, come out and just dominate in this game. They're also playing a Senna Tahm Kench lane into Lucian Nami. I'm sure it's not, the best matchup in the world. It's not exactly what you choose to be going for, but obviously they're on red side, so you're not really going to get the dream matchup all the time. But overall, I think they did fine. Obviously, they played well enough to get a win in the LCS, which is always great. Now, yes, this Cloud9 team should be heavily favored and should be beating Team Dignitas. But hey, so far, so good. Tomorrow will be the big test. They are going up against Huhi and FBI, which is a great bot lane in the LCS. They're also going up against 100 Thieves. That'll be a real test for 100 Thieves, or for Cloud9. But either way, they have the whole rest of Summer Split, the whole rest of 2022 to kind of get back on track. But after the game, Zven, I think he is, I've always said this, I think Zven is one of the best interviews and one of the best people on the mic in the entire LCS. He does some trash talk. He is just really straightforward. He answers your questions. He doesn't shy away from stuff. He's willing to give you some answers. So I thought it was awesome that after the game, after the win, they had him on the LCS desk and asked him some questions about his role swap to support on what this means going forward, not only for this split, but for the rest of his career, which I think is pretty interesting. Some of the stuff we already knew, and some of the stuff people had kind of hinted about, but to actually hear it again from Zven's mouth, I think is important.
We were talking before we went live as well about like, you're fine with us asking you anything. And I apologize if this has been answered before, but you are the type of player that I think can pull off a role swap to support, because I know you think a lot about the game. Like even when you're playing with Mithy or like any team you've been on, you talk all the time about the theory of the game. But I also want to know, like, do you think support is the best role for you now, or are you doing it so you can play LCS?
And I think that's a great question. You know, like, hey, was AD carry not working out? Is there something about this point in your career where you think support's just super broken, or you think you realize something that makes you a better support than better AD carry? Do you think, there's all different kinds of reasons that people roll swap. Yeah, asking like, hey, why did you roll swap? Does support make sense for you right now? Is it kind of forced? Does this not make sense? Do you think you'd still be better as AD carry? I think it's a good question. So let's hear what Zven has to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie about it. I am playing support initially because it's the only way for me to play on a team that I think can win LCS and go to Worlds.
So, obviously, Zven being straightforward. And he said he's not going to lie because, yeah, some people would maybe want him to sugarcoat it. Some people would maybe want him to say, like, oh, no, I just think I'm really good at support. I think, I can help the team win best as support. I'm just glad to get an opportunity, yada, yada, yada. And some people might be a little bit concerned by him saying, hey, I'm only playing support because it's the only way I could get on a good team. There'll be definitely some people that are like, oh, he's not even, fully bought into this role swap. Like, hey, this isn't going to work out unless you give it, 110%, or if you really believe in this thing, or yada, yada, yada. But to me, I see it the other way. I see this as a really cool thing that shows what kind of teammate and player Zven is, that he is so competitive. He is so hyper-focused on winning and getting to the top that he is even willing to role swap. He is willing to play support if that means he can continue competing. He can continue, trying to accomplish his goals and dreams of, hey, winning LCS championships, making it to Worlds, making it to international tournaments, and then ultimately, hopefully at one point competing for international titles. To me, that is super, super cool. Because yes, he could have continued to, sit in Cloud9 Academy or sit on Cloud9, as a guy scrimming in their internal scrims, or even playing Academy. Now that he has his green card, he could make a considerable amount of money doing that as well. He could, make a full-time living. He could work as a coach, do anything like that. Most people aren't willing to role swap, and especially, some people have ego or whatever, but obviously, Cloud9 has an amazing AD carry talent in Berserker. Maybe Zven is better than Berserker at this point in his career. Who knows? But obviously, Berserker has a very, very high ceiling, and he is very great in his own right. So the fact that Zven is willing to take on this challenge to not only help himself accomplish his goals and dreams, but also help Cloud9. Because again, Cloud9 was in a weird spot. They were in a bad spot where they were really struggling in the support position. Every support that they've brought in, whether it was Winsome, whether it was Isles, whether it was Destiny, they've all looked pretty subpar. They've all looked pretty lackluster. And when you look at the C9 roster, they have a top 2, 3, 4 player at every single position except support. Now, we don't know that Zven's going to be amazing or anything like that, but I do think Zven is going to give it as good of a shot as anyone, and I think he has a very, very good opportunity, even if he's not great, to be better than the choices they had before. So I think that is just really, really cool to hear from Zven.
It's just more important to me to make Worlds and win LCS than it is to play a certain role. I don't care so much about the glory of playing ADC role, like it's like the striker in football or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not that important to me. So I am playing it for now because I want to win LCS and go to Worlds. But if it goes poorly, then maybe we'll see what happens after the year is over, right? And if it goes well, then yeah, I might just continue playing support.
Are you worried?
And I think that's cool as well. He does say at the end there that, hey, if this goes good, it's not like I'm against continuing to play support going forward into the future. And if we take a look at the LCS contract database real quick, we'll actually see here that Zven is signed with Cloud9 until 2024. So it's not like he's in the last split of his deal. It's not like he's about to be a free agent and Cloud9 just wants him to play support for one split and then they're going to, ship him off or whatever like that. He is signed to Cloud9 for 5 more splits if you include this one. So yes, if things go well, he could be C9 support of the future. But obviously, if things go poorly, you think that he's probably going to be on his way out. Or if he doesn't like it, or if the team doesn't like it, or maybe the team just ends up wanting to look somewhere else in the offseason as well, because Cloud9 does have an import slot available right now, and that's where things get very, very interesting. Obviously, Fudge, Blabber, Jensen, all residents. You have Berserker as the import. C9 could theoretically go out and look at other support options. I know there has been people saying that, hey, Core JJ has an expiring contract. Maybe C9 should go hard after him. I don't know how likely that is. And then there's also just been some people saying, hey, C9 should go hard after a good young Korean support to pair Berserker up with, and then really, have an amazing resident top side and have a very, very strong Korean bot side that Berserker might be able to develop with. Also have, some kind of more comfortability in the United States with having another Korean player and all this stuff. And I think that could be interesting as well. But if Zven and Berserker end up being a solid bot lane this year and Zven and Berserker get along and everyone's happy, this could be something something going forward into the future as well. But you also have the opportunity of Zven, now that he has a green card, the other opportunities, AD carry and support options with other teams are really going to open up as well, because, hey, Zven would be a better AD carry than a lot of other AD carries in the LCS right now. I have no doubt in my mind that he would be top 4 or 5 at the position. And yeah, I'm sure, depending on how good this goes as a support this split, I'm sure he could be a better support than some teams have right now as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, he's ultra competitive. He wants to play on as good of a team as possible, good of a roster as possible. He wants to have chances to compete and win. And I love that about Zven. I love that he's back. I love that he's on the mic, interviews, all that stuff. And I can't wait to see what is next from him. And I'm so excited for this C900 Thieves matchup today. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Zven's return to the LCS, or what you think about him being a support. Do you think he's going to be a support with C9 next year? Do you think he's going to be moving on? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.